Hello, Spy fans. Sorry for the delay. We are back, and well, we have an update for you.
Yeah, we do.
The bracket, the match on the other side of the bracket here
Mhm.
from the round of 4 has concluded.
Yes.
It was Dignitas versus Panthera. This one went extra special long.
Yeah. It's like
so
50 minutes long.
yeah, this game was quite long. So that's what the delay is. We're waiting for the third, fourth game to get into it so that we can broadcast it for you. Well, so looking at what happened here, the bans were for the side of Panthera, Amir, Aphrodite, Osiris.
Yep.
Dignitas took out Shibalanke, Geb, Serket. And, well, it was on one side for Panthera. They have the Poseidon, and it worked with adapting on Thor, who also it worked for him. Ninja Dimi looks like he did fairly well in the solo lane on Tier. Optics 4-1 in the mid lane on Nuwa. And Raffer with 11 assists. Only one kill, but 11 assists on the jungle Nemesis. It looks like that it was just a big team fight problem from Dignitas. Giannis,
Most likely.
Arachne, Cupid, Fenrir, Athena was their pickup. Obviously, Frosty Axe Fenrir doesn't bring that much AoE to the table. Neither does Variety's Spider in this case. And they basically got out team fighted. A lot of assists for Panthera, not so much going for Dig. So tough game for them.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are starting to realize that Nuwa, although people feel like she's in a weird, she's awkward, right? Like she does the damage early game.
Yeah.
With the clay soldiers mixed with the shiny metal. She does her damage there, but then like the ultimate doesn't really do anything until the later stages of the game. So then you feel like she's a late game god, but at the same time, late game, she can't get the clay soldiers with the shiny metal off, and she just really has her ultimate, which is kind of used as an escape when they dive into the backline. So as long as you can make her shine in the early game, that's when we're starting to see Nuwa start to excel. And I think I'm expecting her to see a lot more play.
Yeah, Nuwa, it's a skill thing, I think, right? It's like if you can make it happen with Nuwa through the mid game as kind of a vision primary ultimate use, right? Like that's where she can shine.
Which is weird because people don't use it for that.
You see it sometimes. Yeah, I mean, and I think that's where the nuance of playing her comes from, right? Is you have to know kind of when to ultimate, when it's going to set up kills for your team instead of just securing kills for yourself. Not that there's anything wrong with that, of course, but and how that allows her to be a late game carry, and how it allows you to split push, get like 2 or 3 people with her and the clay minions to backdoor something, given the vision. That's kind of how you have to play it to really be on top of your Nuwa game. It's not the easiest thing in the world.
You can't leave Nuwa alone. Is really what it comes down to. Like if you rotate for a lane or just a kill in general, and you're going against a Nuwa, it's kind of like, my tower's missing half health instead of just 25% due to the clay soldiers and the extra damage. But the one thing that does stick out to me is like Ninja Dimi playing Tier 3, 1, and 6 throughout this time. Like Tier is really showing that like no matter who plays him, no matter what's happening, he's just gonna shred through you and he's not gonna die.
I wonder if we're gonna see Lassus playing him in the jungle again. Really started doing it at the end of last season.
You prefer Tier in the jungle.
I just like Blink on Tier, right? And it's very hard to itemize Blink in the solo lane. In many cases, right? Because you got to get your hog, and generally speaking, on Tier, you're probably going to get a teleport to towers or wards.
Oh. Interesting enough, he actually decided to go Fist of the Gods.
Yeah, I mean, that makes
you get the stun,
sense.
whatever, you kind of
Fist of the Gods is one of those items that, like, at some point, you're back at your base, and you have Hand of the Gods 2, and you've had it for, like, 17 minutes, and you're like, all right.
You're like, do I really want to buy 2 wards in a century? Nah,
let me get a stun, right? I mean, like, this item has been nerfed quite a bit from where it started, and
for sure,
it's in a much better spot now. It's kind of like a little bit of additional utility instead of being like, now Bastet has a hard stun. You know, it's kind of like how it used to be. It's not quite as good anymore, but I think that overall, yeah, I like Blink on Tier. I just love love that matching, and it does a lot of what we saw in the last game out of the Amir.
Well, what's really very interesting as well is the fact that Emilito, it looks like he went CDR boots with Poseidon, into into a demonic grip, into hasten Fatalis. So he's
Charlie build.
Yeah, he's going for like the complete in hand, which works fantastically on the Xbox. Like it's amazing on the Xbox.
Is that your go-to?
Yeah.
Yeah, go-to is cheese in hand Poseidon.
Oh God, yeah. Well, Trident just hits, man.
Yeah.
You hit someone with the Trident, and you add the fact that you can chase him down.
Yeah, sure.
So then it's like, do I really want sprint? Oh yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Right.
No.
That's where it feels
I know.
weird.
I've played it. I played against it. I've played as it. Especially when you add the Meditation 3 to that build, and it's just cheesy Charlie Poseidon Rushdown.
Come on, no one believes in that though.
Watch out for the Charlie build, guys. It's tough.
The Charlie build
is really good when you're playing against low-level players. But let's talk about where this sets us up, right? Dignitas loses. That puts them in the losers bracket versus London Conspiracy here in the third, fourth place game. We saw London Conspiracy just lose in spectacular fashion at Tricky Sports. I mean, it was a one-sided game. To be kind about it.
When you look at the grand scheme of things, because we're playing for really seeding here in next week, London Conspiracy knows that they have a really, really bad matchup versus Trig, so they have to win over Dig in this third, fourth matchup, or else they'll meet up with them in the semifinals again. Sure. They really want this third seed.
Sure. Yeah, they do. They want to get away from that position, but
they don't want fourth.
Even with their relatively high soft seed position from London Conspiracy, they struggled a little bit with a lower-seeded team. We've already seen a couple lower-seeded teams win this weekend. And, well, overall, Trig Esports seems very deserving of their number 1 overall. Dignitas, however, maybe not performing so well against their number 3 soft seed. So we see number 3 and number 4 fall. 1-2 move on, so everyone playing to their seeds there. The Spicy Waffles struggled a little bit. Elo Fishers, they didn't do so great either. And maybe
they lost round 1
yeah.
that they had to play.
Yeah,
right?
round 1, the number 6 seed does go down to an unseeded team in the upcoming Stars. So congratulations to them. Pretty exciting stuff.
I'll tell you what, man. The Trig Esports versus Panthera, that is the matchup.
Yeah, this best of 3 is going to be a killer.
That's the matchup everyone at home is going to be interested to watch.
Everyone in the studio, too. You don't even have to be at home.
Yeah, no. I care about it for me. I'm just trying to basically tell you guys that you should care.
Well, let's talk about Trig Esports.
We just watched
this team.
Fantastic.
Was exceptionally good so far in this tournament. They looked in rare form. Not sure if this was like they're chomping at the bit, like an animal race, right, or skiing or something, where like you're like holding on to the poles and right down, They just had to let it all out, or if they are going to be able to keep that play consistent. That's gonna be tough.
Well, the big thing that I took from it is the fact that they didn't have to rely on Zeoya at all. Normally, like last year, it was like, okay, game's close, everyone's clawing at it, Zeoya comes through. This was like, oh, Zeoya, you're here, cool. We don't really need you here, but I'm glad you're here.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not mad, but you could be farming.
Yeah, you could be farming. You could have gotten that tower. I would have liked to go back and get 2 pots. Yeah. I don't know why you're here. So that's the big thing I take from it.
Yeah.
But like Panthera, that matchup is going to be very, very good for them. That's going to be like a
many of the EU pros think that this is the strongest team, even out of the number 2 position.
Which is
hard
weird.
To bet against Trig, considering how they looked. Well, it's not that weird.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if gun to my head, if you say that someone like Raffer switching from jungle to support and that team is going to be the number 1 team going into split 1 of season 2, I'd be like, no, you're crazy.
I would believe it, because Raffer was an excellent early game player that just didn't bring anything to the mid game, was like looking to help his teammates and set up fights in the mid game and late game, right? So that's a Guardian's life. Do really well in the early game, get a little bit ahead, and then set up fights. So
or get behind and don't know how to transition through anything.
But he didn't play behind that much as a support, or as a jungler, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, but again, like now imagine like he's behind.
Sure.
Like that, and that's a realistic probability. That's going to happen.
Yes, it'll happen.
Yeah, that's going to happen at least once in his career.
He's giving up his farm to make the rest of the team better, but do I think that means that they lose the games? No, I think that Raffer's his blood sense, his killer instinct, right? For whatever reason, around minute 15, he's looking to support rather than get kills.
Which was the big problem at EU Regionals.
That held them back at the EU Regionals, and that's fine if that's your support's mentality. Like, make it happen as Guardian for the first 10 minutes of the game, 15 minutes, and then set up fights and have strong objective play. That a Guardian makes, Scott.
I just wonder what's going to happen when we look at the Panthera versus Trig Esports. Like, what are those bans going to be? Like, Athena seems strong, but there's no way you're going to let Ymir go through.
Yeah, I can't imagine. So that's the finals is going to be really curious in terms of picking and banning. Yeah. I will be absolutely astonished if Shibalanka gets to the banning phase again, considering that Funball didn't even really get into the fight and still was like, oh, don't fight him. And his ultimate had a lot of
it's just
really
annoying.
Strong impact that game as well.
It's annoying, and people aren't used to playing against Shibalanka, so their timing might be a second off when it comes to the wheel, right? Yeah. Like, the last piece. And then it's like, what the hell? Like, why am I stunned? And then what it does is it allows your team to chase.
Well, before we get into that game, Scott, in the finals, we do have the number 3-4 matchup. It's ready to go. Dignitas versus London Conspiracy. Do you have a favorite going into this one?
I'm going to go London Conspiracy. I think overall, I'm expecting them to do a little bit better than Dignitas. I think Dignitas needs to find their footing as a team. I really think it comes down to that. Every time we broadcast them, they lose.
Well, at the end of the day, though, it's hard for me to bet against Young Bay. Young Bay is Bay. And Team Dignitas, an old name in Smite. I think that they're going to do it for Odie here. In the fourth place matchup, but London Conspiracy has looked a little streaky today. They've had some dominant games, some teams they got dominated in.
But they got dominated in one game, right?
Yeah,
one game was just like really, really bad.
Fair enough. But Dignitas has banned out Thor. On the side of London Conspiracy, it's going to be Arachne gone, another jungler and assassin gone from Team Dignitas. Different set of bans that we've seen so far today mostly, but it is Serket removed as well. London Conspiracy, are they going to ban Shibalanke against Young Bay? They will indeed.
Yeah, they don't want to deal with that.
They're not about that life. What is the first pick from Team Dignitas here?
Could be Athena? It could be Athena could be
Poseidon?
Nemesis.
Nemesis.
Nemesis is always a go-to, but again, we're seeing a priority going with Cupid, which
the baby.
I think it's over prioritizing him. Especially when you have him going against an Athena, and then Osiris is going to be locked in as well.
Yeah, big AoE lockdown comp coming out of London Conspiracy. Very powerful first two picks, but it does tip their hand to their solo lane pretty early. But Osiris, not a lot of fantastic counters against this god, with the exception of perhaps Ao Kwang. I think that's a great matchup for him, as well as Nemesis. Both of them do exceptionally well coming out of the jungle fighting Osiris. But what will we see? If I'm Dignitas here, I may reach down and what about a Nemesis Zhang Kui pick from them here?
Nemesis Zhang Kui. Zhang Kui right now kind of feels like Zhang Kui shows me that you're waiting more for like 3 or 4 items for him to be done, and I think he's more of a solo laner than he is a mid laner from what I've seen so far. But Sun Wukong and Poseidon is definitely an interesting one. So Sun Wukong, like as much as I want him to excel, mainly just because I look just like him, but like
that's true. You could be
he's just got a single target lockdown, which doesn't have great synergy, but with the Cupid and the Poseidon together, the single target might benefit him a little bit. But you don't get that feeling that you get when you have a Sylvanas or a Geb Cataclysm come in.
You're definitely not worried about dying in the Sun Wukong lane.
No.
You know, like maybe it's going to be a little annoying. Maybe you have to play a little more passive than you would have hoped to because of Jingle Bang Harass, but it's pretty hard for him to set up the kills now that Master's Will, that circle attack just slows, no longer knock up. Also, it makes his matchups against channeled abilities a little bit weaker, but Athena not in possession of any of those is going to be just fine.
And it could still be the Athena's still on the table, which is oh no, never mind. Sorry.
No, she's not.
Yeah.
But bans come through. Nemesis
like,
removed by London Conspiracy. Awelish is banned out by Team Dignitas.
Don't call her that.
Which is curious because there's no knockups on the side of London Conspiracy. I mean, maybe they think that they're going to go for a Vamana or something, but
that's the pick.
Hungry bots, yeah.
Hungry bots. I mean, with the nerf that happened to beads, we see Hunbats goes very, very well. And when you look at this, Athena, what's going to happen here, my bet is that London Conspiracy will probably take this game solely because Athena's going to come in. She's going to hit a taunt after 12 minutes, which everyone's is going to bead because of the combination that you're going to have with Isis. Then in comes Fear No Evil from Hunbats. The team setup there is fantastic.
Well, on the side of Team Dignitas, to deal with the AoE setup, they're going to go for a Bakasura, which, well, it doesn't do that. And neither does this one. It's Bakasura Fenrir to close out the draft for Dignitas. Greedy, if nothing else, but they're going to have a hard time dealing with the AoE team comp. It's Cupid Poseidon. You have to do a lot of work, and Bakasura is going to have to make it happen in the 3-4 seconds that his ultimate is active. Or these team fights are going to be very one-sided. London Conspiracy, will they go all-out AoE comp? No, their hard carry in this is going to be an Uller.
This is a Fenrir jungle, right?
Yes, most likely.
I mean, Baka hasn't been in the jungle besides in the casual
and
play.
Bakasura makes a heck of a lot more sense against Osiris than a Fenrir does to me. But so Fenrir jungle, yeah, you know, a lot of synergy with Poseidon, the old kind of like 1-2 cheese combo, like big pub stomp kind of setup.
I fetched for you.
It's like when you and your like 13-year-old brother like play. You're like, I'm gonna play Poseidon, younger brother, you play Fenrir, and just bring them to me and feed me kills, right? So, little brother Fenrir. Not Ataraxia's little brother here.
No. But this is more like APC and Dan.
Yeah, that's right. There you go.
Dan playing Fenrir, kind of bringing APC the food at all times.
That's right. And Poseidon, well, he's got to clean it up. And while the Poseidon is going to be manned by none other than Shadow Nightmare here in the mid lane, formerly of Team Fnatic. Let's go ahead and introduce your squads, ladies and gentlemen. The blue squad fighting out of the bottom side of the minimap and the left side of your spectator UI. They are returning to Smite, now in their native region, sponsored by Team Dignitas. It's Well, Team Dignitas. Frostyak's going to be your Fenrir. Young Bay is going to be in the duo lane matchup with Frezzo this time around. As Cupid and Sun Wukong. Variety is your solo lane, Bakasura. And mid lane is Shadow Nightmare.
He's got to stop with these team changes, or the name changes.
It was Frezzy, now it's Frezzo.
He's got to. He just needs to be Frez.
The Frez. Well, their opponents today, London Conspiracy, captained by Suntouch. It's going to be Emilzy and Shaggy Shank in the duo lane as Athena and Uller. That puts Snakeskin. It's been a pretty good day for him in the solo lane. Second time today is Osiris. Red Fu is going to be your Hunbots jungler. Red Fu still waiting for that impact. Not been a playmaker so far, but playing a playmaking god now in Hunbots. And finally, Suntouch in the mid lane as Isis.
We might see an invade coming out of Team Dig here. They do have the Bakasura, which if he goes with the Eat minion off the beginning, they're going to be okay. This is the old start coming out for London Conspiracy, though. This is like, oh, yeah, we're set up for Harpies. Oh, wait, no, they're not there. 3 minutes. They're looking to make this invade happen. If they get this, this is going to be astronomical for them. They do have the Athena taunt. Eyes on her. You're going to have to follow the synergy here up with the Suntouch. Here it comes.
And in they come. The taunt. Not there. The camp gets, well, reset, but picked up by London Conspiracy. Suntouch with the second hog able to, well, he doesn't use the hog, but he does find the buff. Frezzy doesn't have his slow available. That could be a good Spirit Ball, yes, and it's going to be enough to stop Frezzy in his tracks. I believe the stun was used by Shaggy Shank there as well, looking at his monocle. But overall here, it's a fairly decent start for London Conspiracy to secure the red buff for their mid laner. And, well, they're perfectly happy to go to lane. London Conspiracy just a bit behind now.
Yeah, they don't have the purple buff yet either, and they have to contest that wave. So now you're going to see London Conspiracy go back, grab that purple buff, and now they're going to be able to not miss a wave at all. So Team Dig has to decide when they're going to go for that, and they have to be very, very careful.
Bakasura stole the blue on the top right side of the map, so invades all around. Dignitas getting a blue buff, and now the second pickup here. Oh, that's a big stun coming out. Red Fu's going to take a bit of damage for his trouble as well. And as you mentioned, yeah, purple buff still standing for Team Dignitas. And
it's tough for them to
Sun Wukong Cupid, they just don't have a lot of clear to really go and get that. And you can see they're forced to play aggressive, try to push the lane up and go back for their buff. And that started the rotation from Isis, but leaping away are Young Bay and Red Frezzu. They not going to be feast for the bird just yet.
Yeah, that's a big enough win. So in that scenario, Team Dig is trying to look to kind of shove that wave all the way at the tower, so then London Conspiracy is like, okay, I have to get this wave, and then they go get the purple. But since the mid laner went ahead and rotated, they can't have that still.
That's right, and now you can see the Athena pressuring forward from London Conspiracy. Emilzy and Shaggy Shank have definitely looked to be in sync. It's a 4-man rotation from London Conspiracy. It's a big commitment here, and they're going to go for it. I mean, there's no way that Team Dignitas fights into this.
No, there's no way. I mean, even if Poseidon comes and rotates, they're not going to be there in time, and they would rather just shove this wave. I mean, 4 people
collapsing. It's a big investment, though.
It's huge.
For a buff that may not do it, and well, you can see Shadow Nightmare and Frosty setting something up, but there's no Kraken here. Here comes the damage. Just a double stun coming out, and there's a Whirlpool as well. Bees force out on Isis. That's the target, but they don't get any real follow-up damage, immediately bailing out of there. And without level 5, I mean, if there's a Kraken there, it's a completely different story.
Yeah, Kraken there, that's death everywhere. And that's kind of, I'm pretty sure Poseidon went and split those back camps as well. You can see Variety is kind of lingering on the side. Red Food's got to be careful. He does have a jump, but Suntouch does not. They don't have the follow-up. Oh, God, no. Frostic, you got to get the kill, man. Good job.
He gets it. He's going to brutalize away, but leap before is the monkey. There's the slow. Did not get the crit on his first hit. There's a Kraken, and there's a dead monkey. A Shadow Nightmare over the wall. Finds himself a nice kill. 2-for-0 trade in favor of Team Dignitas. They're off to a nice start.
Yep, Snakeskin does have the tether down. Variety's going to be able to jump away. He's going to hit him with the sickle and just kind of be like, okay, I'll take the damage. They'll live with that, and now the Harpies are going to be up. Snakeskin could be in a precarious situation, but it looks like he might be able to get this as Bakasura is just going to come in and actually hands it and takes it from him. So Team Dignitas with a slight advantage.
Bakasura just so scary to fight against at any point in the game, really.
Especially level 5.
Yeah, level 5 may be the scariest point. But he's very dependent on getting that first kill, and hasn't picked it up just yet. Has Variety. Does have 2 assists to his credit, though, which is quite nice for him, but I was going to have a hard time locking down Osiris, the Lord of the Afterlife, Elite Psycho Crusher. Of course, being an ultimate, he can use it even when crippled, so it makes him CC immune to activate that ability. So it's going to be a little tough for Bakasura to find this kill, but it's going to be a big one if he does get it. And, well, with Fenrir here, I doubt they're going to go in. Frostic doesn't have that ultimate to bring Osiris back. But Variety still looking for that kill. Overall, Team Dignitas, they've built themselves a little bit of a lead here, 4 minutes in with their first 2 kills. 1,300 experience, 900 gold to their credit. And with the mid camps going down, It's going to be a little while before London Conspiracy has a great opportunity to make this deficit back up in terms of pure farm. They're going to have to make some plays around the map to overtake Dignitas now until about maybe minute 7.
One thing that should not go unsaid is the fact that Frostyak is a full level ahead of everyone in the game. He's been just about everywhere. Suntouch is going to get forced out here. You can see Athena's coming in as well. Frostyak sees that and he's like, nope, nope, no, don't want to fight this. Here comes a Kraken. Kraken's going to take out one. Will they continue to pursue is the question. Frostyak does have the Brutalize. He's going to get taunted out of this. Shadow Nightmare doesn't have the follow-up, but he's going to make sure they force all the way back. Meanwhile, Bakasura in the boxing match. Snakeskin, he's going to turn and just try to do some damage, but they lost that battle.
Humbot's ultimate used defensively there, and that's not how you want your first Humbot's ultimate of the game to go. Used to bail out, no real follow-up from that fight, and they're going to lose their orange buff in the process as well. That one going to go to Variety, and he's perfectly happy to hold that. Blue buff was taken, however, on the top right side, so secured, it looks like, for Snakeskin. Lucky guy there. Finally gets a hold of his blue buff. Should help his laning out a bit. Blue up as well, but orange buff sitting on top of the Bakasura means he doesn't get that for a bit. Mid lane here, you see Shadow Nightmare now with a kill. I'm sorry, 2 kills to his name and an assist, been involved in all 3 kills. He's pulling ahead of Suntouch, who's going to have a bit of a difficult time now. Emilzy takes a stun, but does secure the buff for his Uller as well. So things still nice and happy over in the dual lane, at least for London Conspiracy for now.
Dude, look how much money Osiris.
Oh, it did get stolen. I'm sorry. It was snatched.
It got
they
stolen?
just left it on the ground.
Gotcha. Look how much money has been invested by Snakeskin in actives. He's spent like 1,200 gold on a teleport already. He doesn't have boots. He just has a death toll and a tier 1 of Runeforge. Like, I mean, yes, he has mobility, but that's a lot of money in actives early.
Yeah, it is. And what's curious here is that usually common wisdom is that you basically have to have a sprint versus Bakasura unless you're planning on man-fighting him in his ultimate. And Osiris is getting away with his teleport to towers because he has that ultimate that allows him to leap out of the Bakasura cripple. So it's still a little bit risky, though. I mean, you saw how effective Bakasura was diving all the way to the tier 2 versus the Osiris, who traditionally is really, really good at extending engagements.
Well, Shadow Nightmare is just going to go and throw one Whirlpool out and just try to deter him just a bit. The ultimate's there. There's the Kraken. Kraken's doing a lot. There's the Tidal Surge as well. And does he have the Trident? Frostyak got the one. They take out Athena. There goes the global presence.
There's
he's
a
not
nice
done.
follow-up stun there. It's going to take about 3 hits. He doesn't have the Brutalize Veil. We saw him secure the kill with that in the last engagement, but Red Fu just hasn't brought it.
He hasn't brought it today.
No.
Yeah, I think both of us can agree that it's been very underwhelming jungle presence. Even though London Conspiracy has pulled out and they've gotten to this point, it's just when you have the Hunbats, I mean, you're looking for a lot of engagements. I mean, you look across the way and you got Bakasura with beads. You got, like, that's it. Like, he needs to be very active. Like, yeah, very active.
Well, all things told here, Dignitas holding a nice advantage going into the kind of second spawn of the gold of mid camps. They do force the fights there. They find the kill into the Athena, and now Frostyak got himself another kill, putting him even further ahead of Redfu, who just now hits 8. Frostyak about halfway to 9. It's a tough spot for London Conspiracy, but it's not all over yet. First
not even close.
Has yet to fall. It's definitely eligible to be started by either team now. Hog 3 is not up on either side as far as I can tell, though. So there's an opportunity here for London Conspiracy to maybe sneak that early Hog 3 in and find themselves a kill, but it's not likely, as Athena's still sitting at rank 1 here and isn't in a great position to go back either. Forced to hold the lane now as Uller's making his way back. Do you think Dignitas has enough momentum here to deal? Oh, no, mid lane. This could be the first
kill. That's the play.
Oh, but Kraken use. They're not going to get much out of him. He's not going to have that when he respawns. Could be a Gold Fury opportunity, but Athena, she just ported in. Did she go back and pick up Hog 3? She did not. So
she didn't.
She ported from the left side lane. It's going to be a tough, really try at that point then. So they're going to make their way to the left side lane and just try to bully and fight a 3v3 here. But
they got it.
Oh, wow. Frostyak definitely wasn't expecting that much. Takes a lot of damage, but able to retreat now. That Cupid ultimate did work. Gets stunned out, and a lot of damage from the Uller as well. The burst is really big from London Conspiracy here. Youngbae going to try to make it away, and he does not. Suntouch's ultimate cleans him up with the instant activation. Moving forward is the Uller. He's not going to find the stun, as taking to the skies is Sun Wukong. Falling back now is LC. You see that decoy raging forward as Sun Wukong looks to clear the wave out, but the burst, my goodness, coming out from the Shaggy Shank and Sun Touch combination. Right on the mark there for LC.
And this is what was scary. You originally asked the question, does Dignitas have enough momentum? The problem that Dignitas is going to face is the inevitability of London Conspiracy having Athena taunt coming in hot at level 12, and at that same time, Jotun's being finished on Hunbats, so he's going to be flying in after the beads have been popped, and that's where you're going to see him be very dangerous. Or they're going to not use the beads on the taunt and just accept that damage, and then even still, they're going to have to deal with it. Like, that's what's so scary now about the Athena and Hunbats combo.
Well, it's been a very kind of low number of kills game, 4-2 here at about 10 minutes in. And that, I think, is to the benefit so far of London Conspiracy. Granted, they're down by quite a bit, but this isn't a really high kill match. It's a little bit slow pace, and Uller, Isis, and Hunbots, and Osiris, they all scale really well compared to Team Dignitas that is a little more mid-game focused. Sun Wukong not bringing too much to the table late game. Frostyak starts falling off as an in-hander, hard for him to close distance. Variety, same kind of thing. You know, Poseidon's a little bit of a one-shot pony later in the game. So it's a little bit to their credit. This is a slow-paced game, but the advantage is still here from Dignitas, and this can very quickly turn into a big advantage if they get a couple of key kills. And
that's one.
Fury, and there's one key kill onto Sun Touch. No follow-up there. Can they secure the Athena as well? They can't for now. Trying to run away is going to be Sun Wukong. He's going to make it. Getting beat up inside of that whirlpool. The burst is there, and Frostyak takes that kill to his
That was
credit.
perfect. That's exactly what you're looking to do. I mean, Red Fu with the Hunbats, he didn't have Fear No Evil up. He used that in his last engagement. It's a very, very long cooldown, and because of that, he almost turned it, but you could just see, I mean, he doesn't have beads. Fenrir's going to make him pay for that, and it's just so smart to just let him stay in the whirlpool and just eat tridents to the face.
Yeah, that was...
No one's surviving.
That's the trident damage really coming through there. Look how good of a job Shadow Nightmare's doing it, not hitting on Mealsy and continuing to do damage to the tower. But now taunted back in's going to take at least one more shot. No, but will get out in time to avoid a second, and Poseidon barely eking out that one with his run speed. They did pull Variety to help back that up. You can see the Bakasura sitting just off to the right side of the mid lane. But he's recalling, and it's a reset. Team Dignitas now 6 kills to 2 after that last engagement.
And looking at it, I mean, no team's even considered the Gold Fury so far. You surprised by that part?
A little bit, yeah. But, you know, it's mostly, I think, a factor of Team Dignitas being up and having a Sun Wukong support. Not great as a tank. Does have his Hog 3 now, though. And they can definitely make a play for it. But London Conspiracy
speak of the devil.
Started up as they have a 5-man rotation over here. Isis ultimate activated. In comes the Athena as well. The burst is real, and down it goes. No response from Team Dignitas.
That's huge.
London Conspiracy, they draw the same dead even.
Yeah, I mean, the experience is very, very different. I mean, 2,800 is a lot. I mean, Smite is a game about levels, not necessarily about gold as much in the early game stages, but that's fair. That's a great play. I mean, Isis has kind of found her spot, I think, amongst the pros. Last season, I wasn't convinced on her. I think a lot of people have a good idea of how to play her, but I never felt like Circle of Protection was used to the fullest.
Well, even still, she's still only 1 in 3, right? So it's not like this game is going maybe as well as Sun Touch would have hoped, but nice use of the ultimate there. They take a very, very fast Gold Fury, but they're going to lose a tier 1 for it. On the right side, they lose their tier 1 to Variety. Mid lane, they're going to lose a tier 1 as well as the continued group for Team Dignitas recoups that gold from the Gold Fury, but there's still a lot of towers remaining on the map. London Conspiracy, there's a lot of gold remaining for them to pick up if they do get ahead just a bit, which is a little bit dangerous, right? You want to be ahead in farm from gold out of the map, not necessarily only towers. Although they are the early game team, so we'd be worried if they didn't have a couple towers at this point. But that first Gold Fury is going to hurt Team Dignitas quite a bit, as this lead could have been very easily around 7K now, but now it's still hovering at about 2.
Yeah, I love the Hasten Fatalis pickup on the Bakasura. Now, when I first started playing out on Bakasura, I was told, you wanted this, but hold the phone here. Frostyk's going to go ahead and push in. He's got the Brutalize on. That's a huge Fear No Evil. Kraken comes in. Kraken's got 1. He's got 2. Can he get 3? He's going to jump over. That is a triple kill for Shadow Nightmare. It was set up perfectly. They were all grouped. They committed as well. That's a
Call it a quadra. As Red Fu, I think, dies to minions running away. Getting credit is the Poseidon. That's a competitive quadra kill. You don't see a lot of those.
That's the play, right? But it was so funny, right? Like, they did everything I said would be strong about the Hunbats, and then they all committed right in there, and they didn't see Shadow Nightmare's rotation, and he made them all pay.
Yeah, they just a little bit behind in the levels. Not enough base damage to deal with the base HP. It's a level 16 Poseidon. Next highest on the side of London Conspiracy is 13. Sun Touch absolutely dominated in this lane with those early deaths. Behind 4 levels. Bakasura up a level as well. Fenrir up 2 levels on his counterpart. and only Shaggy Shank really doing that well on the side of London Conspiracy this game. After that fight, a lot of experience going the way of Poseidon, and it's starting to turn heavily in favor of Team Dignitas at 10,000 player damage on the side of this Poseidon. Good God Almighty.
Yeah, that's a tier 2 down on the right as well. I mean, this is going to be very, very hard for Snakeskin to kind of get in there. He's invested a lot of money into teleport, and looking at it, he has he has 2 wards that he can teleport to, but they're in his own jungle, which will only take him about 20 seconds to get to from his fountain. He can't use this teleport to its full advantage. That is a problem.
It's like you talked about, right? Like last game we saw SunTouch miss a lot of his Krakens through this period of the game, but then hit like the 2 that really mattered. Will Shadow Nightmare be the inverse of that and really keep his performance up the entire game? At this rate, it looks like he's going to have no problem.
It's because he's playing Dreadbeard, man. Dreadbeard is the skin. It's way better than Poseidon. But that's a tough call. That's a tough call.
Whoa.
I like Pirates, man. Just like Sobek's skin, the alligator goes in.
Up mid lane here. Frostex's going to go in, but it's going to be immediately beadsed away. And once again, this game, Shadow Nightmare's gone first item.
That is a big shark.
So you were wondering why that you would go first item Spear of the Magus last game. That's it right there. True damage.
Yeah.
Right? Even with only the...
It Shredge Mages is down.
With only the Lost Artifact, you don't scale magical damage per level. So you have basically the same amount of magical damage or magical protection, at level 1 that you do at level 20. And the Spear of the Magus means it's true damage, and Poseidon from ahead, big base damage coming out of that whirlpool. It's very similar to...
They committed hard.
It's an old style build, but it's still really, really strong. And now cutting around the Osiris, he's going to force the Osiris to run out of the whirlpool there. He's going to take the what-for from the Cupid on Youngbei.
Rip.
Nom 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 nom. Variety gobbles up Redfu, who's just way behind. I mean, no one can fight that Bakasura right now.
No.
16 with his Fatalis and his File. It's time to run away, and it's time for Team Dignitas to flex their muscles. And look at this. I mean, they're fighting between the Tier 2 and Tier 1. I guess they're doing that, as I call it.
Yeah. Well, what's huge, too, I mean, Bakasura, he has Regurgitate when he comes online with this build. Yeah. No one's escaping.
Well, no one's fighting either. Igfile going to be wrecking anyone's physical power. Osiris really even has to run, which is tough. And
SunTouch is in a lot of trouble here.
That's a lot of true damage, and the Aegis is going to be used. That's not enough, Sunny. Down you go. Frezzo getting credit for that kill, and dashing away is the Athena. So the Athena ultimate used as well as dropping your Isis, which is a tremendous amount of your wave clear. Gold Fury back up in 10 seconds, and that's got to be where Team Dignitas is looking next.
I think this is the showing we all wanted to see out of Dignitas during the show match as well. But now that we're seeing it here, it even feels better. A Shadow Nightmare gets an easy kill on Emilzy, dude. Poseidon is just causing havoc everywhere. This is why he's strong. It's 16 minutes, and you're just seeing why he's destroying everyone.
Taking deep into the tower here. Do you have this follow-up stun, Fenrir? No. There's the Brutalize. He's going to get stunned out by the tether. He beads it. He gets now the follow-up stun onto the Osiris. But now what do, Fenrir? That's the question.
he's getting body blocked. He's got it.
Another Brutalize will do it, and Snakeskin to fall. Frostyak finding a kill. That's 3 members down, looking to be a 4th.
Look at that! Yes. Look at that! That's what I was talking about.
So 4 members of London Conspiracy die kind of back to back to back. 2 members down, then SunTouch and Emilzy, followed by Snakeskin, Redfu. At the front of the line is Frezzy. You can see Sun Wukong not really that great as a tank, but he is highly mobile. He kind of just zones him out for a bit, and he's going to walk over and casually hog this Gold Fury. And there it is. Nope, no, they're not. They're going to save it because Fire Giant is available.
Yeah, Fire Giant's available.
And there were no pressure. Smart.
And London Conspiracy's dying 1 by 1. I mean, they're going to have no problem. All they have to do is worry about Athena. And no one else has any real steal potential on this team. I mean, yeah, Snakeskin possibly, but he's only got hand 1, so they only have to worry about Athena, and she's level 11.
Right, yeah, she's really low. And the real danger here is not that she can't do enough damage or she can't stay alive long enough in the team fights. It's mostly just that when she gets piled on by 3 or 4 members, she's not going to stay alive long enough to have her team bail her out, especially not with no second active, just the Hog 3, desperately trying to get to Sovereignty. It's going to be very hard for her to survive, and they can bully the Athena out and take the Fire Giant pretty easily here. You can see Team Dignitas grouping is 5. They're going to send their Sun Wukong. No, they're not. They're not worried about this split push then coming out by Shaggy Shank on the left side. They're going to just take the Fire Giant instead, it looks like here. That's the call at least. Yep. Will they go through with it?
Well, I mean, Bakasura is committing to it. Fenrir is going to be the one zoning. He jumped in on him hard.
Double stun.
He should have the double stun. He's going to bring him in there and right into the Kraken.
There you go.
Go fetch, baby. And
I mean, that was free, right? Like I said, no second active on the Athena. So when Frostyak picks her up, she can't get out of it, and that's an easy kill. Now no Hog 3 available. Team Dignitas gets a free Fire Giant. Granted, Ullr's going to take a tier 2, but it's a fine trade for them. Cupid, Fields of Love, drop down defensively there. They're going to try to pick up Snakeskin. Fight still going on. Hunbot's ultimate has come out. They do get a return kill on the Young Beta.
Got one.
A sloppy fight from Team Dignitas. They split up there. Definitely not what they were looking for, but they do chase down Snakeskin. They put their two most, kind of...
Dude, this is bad. That's the support. You can't die to this Sun Touch.
And Jingu Bang, not even needed. Masters Will cleans it up. Sun Touch overstaying his welcome. And yeah, you're right. That's just not what you're looking for.
He got 1v1'd, and I mean, you're looking at
1v1. Well, I mean, to be fair, Frezzy is equal level with him.
And he has Fire Giant.
And he has Fire Giant. He doesn't have no damage items, but Isis, no, not really bringing much to the table. Kratos Pendant Spear of the Magus. Granted, she hits fairly hard, fairly often, but there you can see just what a little bit of tanking items can do for you, plus some nice base damage on your abilities in that Sun Wukong, which is really why you pick him, is that right there. He like, not really any other tank or available tank besides maybe Kraken can take that fight and come even close. Red Fu absolutely obliterated. Shadow Nightmare can do whatever he wants.
Yeah. And I mean, you can just see the Trident. The Trident is just destroying for him. He popped his sprint too. This is going to be a call just to kind of get out of there. They're going to go for this tier 2 on the left side, which is the play. Looking at the player damage, 18,000 for Poseidon. This is the dream of Poseidon. Is everything lines up, and before 20 minutes, you are 12-1.
Variety's going to get stunned out by the Snakeskin here. Frostyak dies a Shaggy Shank on the left side, trying for another kind of swag play on that.
Yep. Well, the red buff, they're going to take the red buff, which is good. This is going to work out for him just fine, as they're going to clear up the entire jungle, which is going to just delay London Conspiracy from even having a possibility of coming back in. Athena, Ultimate Defender of the Olympus, coming down. They might look to fight this, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get anything out of it. Hunbats has been very underwhelmed this entire game. He's 1-7.
Yeah, just the one Aegis is really not helping London Conspiracy out. And that's a problem for them. And it's the Hand of the Gods pick up on Osiris, right? Prevents him from getting it, which makes sense. But the Sun Wukong electing for beads instead is maybe a little bit suspect. Granted, it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. You have you really need the Aegis to deal with Poseidon, but you really need the beads to deal with Fenrir. It's a nice draft from Dignitas overall.
Wow, Variety went in.
Variety,
he's got the regurgitate.
He's not scared, but he should have been scared. He doesn't get much going, but this is a really, really nicely placed ultimate stack coming out from Team Dignitas. They beads away the Hunbot's ultimate, and they just continue surging forward. That Fields of Love on top of the Kraken just did wonders for them. Snakeskin, they're going to try to chase him down. Maybe you should take a look at the tower first. No, oh, you ain't getting out of that one, buddy.
Dude, that's
the Spear of the Magus, stacking up the pen, and then that Trident did about 600 damage, it looked like. That's just that one Trident out of Shadow Nightmare. Level 20, Fire Giant buff, he's a big boy.
What kind of a game is this, man? He's got a quadra kill, he's got a triple kill. This is the stuff you get in casuals. This isn't the stuff you do against competitive players, my God.
Well, here comes the push into the base. Poseidon is level 15. 15 kills. He's looking for a 16th kill now. Emilzy playing a little bit aggressive here, considering how big this Poseidon is. Will he get the Whirlpool? He will, but he will go down and not find a kill for himself. So a little bit of a throw at the fountain there for Team Dignitas. I'm sorry, at the Phoenix. They're maybe going to get chased down here as well. Frezzy, when is the... No, Bird's back up, and away he goes. It's going to be the Ox knocking up Red Fu. And out he is, and away he goes. But Frostya's a bit unchecked in the mid lane here, looking desperately to get this Phoenix. Is not going to clean up just yet. Yes, they will, as the bouncing monkey finds him. So, yeah, as I mentioned, just giving away a little bit more than they had to with that Phoenix, but they get a lot out of that push, and Gold Fury back up shortly. Fire Giant doing work for the boys of Team Dignitas.
Dignitas, their Fenrir has not only a Spirit Robe, but they also have a Shifter Shield on him. So he is going to be very, very tanky, and he's going to be able to do a decent amount of damage as well. They're going to have to really focus on getting the peel off from there. But, like, how do you deal with a Fenrir jumping in? With a Baka? Like...
Well, traditionally you just stun it out, but it's mostly that kind of beads versus Aegis problem, right? The Poseidon's so far ahead that they really need Aegis bad, but they kind of all itemize beads to deal with Fenrir. It's still only a beads 1 on ice. It's like, Suntouch, you got to get that beads 3 at this point. He's not going to get a damage item online at a relevant time now. It really just needs to maybe get an additional spell out by using the...
He actually just finished out his Aegis, too. He's really, really tired of dealing with the Kraken.
Well, you can see he really wants this lost artifact. He's trying to get Ratatouille out as fast as possible. But I think beads 3 just goes further here. I mean, that's obviously my personal opinion. Suntouch, considerably better at Smite than I am. But
yeah, absolutely.
It's...
But
it puts him
I mean,
in a tough position.
At least with the Aegis, he can throw down Circle of Protection, right? And then, like, Kraken comes, and then he just Aegises.
Well, the scary thing is just that if they force the beads out of him, they know he doesn't have beads for, like, what, 4 minutes or 3 minutes. So that's really more, it's not even so much what the Beats 3 does as much as the window of opportunity it leaves as, well, in the mid lane here, or just off of, they try again for the Athena as they know Fire Giant's back up, but not enough damage this time out of the Kraken. It does force her back, but it's Athena at the end of the day. Fire Giant started up, and here we go. They're going to be able to burn this one down fairly quickly. Now about 40%, 30%, yeah, no contest. This bad boy's already going to go down. It's a nicely timed Huntbot's ultimate. It can be taken at any point, but beats it away as Frezzy, and he finds the kill. Now it's Suntouch. He's going to get burst heal by his ultimate. It's not enough. Down he goes. Emilzy in trouble as well. Piling on. Here comes the rest of Team Dignitas. They're going to run back. It's a nice split there by Emilzy to run back that way. Fenrir's not done yet. He's going to chase someone down, and he'll get it easy. No, sorry, Variety cleans it up. Somehow Variety getting credit for that kill. Not sure how. Doesn't matter. Shaggy Shake down as well. Just Snake's going alive, and he's being chased out by Frezzy. And it's a Sun Wukong, and Osiris just running from him. It's never a good game when that's happening. But Shadow Nightmare here to cut off the escape. Trident damage. Oh, look at the Trident damage. Moving forward with a Psychic Crusher is Snake's hit. But there's a Kraken, buddy. You got to run back our way, and down you go, too. The Tether only going to keep him alive for the moment. Continue to fight. But now does go down. Almost finding a kill for himself. Deicide as well. The Titan, he's been being beat on by Young Bae, who's trying to kite it a little bit. Titan to fall. And Team Dignitas will be taking the 3rd seed here. London Conspiracy falls to 4th. And the game's playing out as the soft seeds went.
Yeah.
Smart stuff, analysts.
Yeah. Minus Elo Fishers.
Yeah, the Elo Fishers not so great, but 1, 2, 3, 4. At least for now, we're set. The top 2 seeds are in the finals, and we have the 3rd, 4th matchup going 2 seed. So
yeah, which was good. I think that's the showing from Dignitas that everyone wanted to see. I think everyone looked at this roster and said, you know, this seems really good. But in the show match, it was like,
London Conspiracy beat Titan in the show match. Granted, it was a little bit of Thanatos ADC that probably contributed to that. But they look pretty good. But now here, Dignitas, who looked a little weak, showing that, no, they definitely got it. A nicely executed team comp there. Getting that Poseidon ahead, as we mentioned, right? It was like, you gotta have beads for Fenrir, but you gotta have Aegis for Kraken. And they bet on the Fenrir being a bigger problem. Like the Fenrir setting up the Poseidon kills, they thought was going to be a bigger problem than Poseidon just having the position to get all these kills. And Shadow Nightmare goes 17, 2, and 7.
That's a highlight reel.
He puts up
the
top player damage. He puts up basically all of the top relevant stats, 571 gold a minute. I mean, out of control farm.
That's a highlight reel. That's like a pub stomp that you throw on YouTube with commentary about what you ate this morning, right? Like the traditional stuff.
Right, that's right.
Like that was a.
And this is a consolation 3rd, 4th match in a pretty well represented tournament in terms of European teams. So Shadow Nightmare running away with that one. Obviously, not every game can go that way, but you're always happy to take them. Frostiak looking pretty nice on that Fender as well at 4-2 and 10, and Frezzo somehow makes it out of the game at 2-0 with 10 assists on his son Wukong. Firing on all cylinders was Dignitas. But that leads us up to our premier event this evening. It's Trick Esports going up against Raffers Panthera in a best-of-3 finals, guys. Game 1 going to be coming your way next. Don't go anywhere. This one should only be about a 5-minute break, and we'll be right back into the game. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be a slobber knocker.